Welcome to another Connection here on TKO8 Television. Dennis King, thanks for joining us on our Connection show this week. Each week we have different organizations and people from those organizations come in and talk to us about programs and opportunities, if you will, for the viewing area. We have a lot of great programs around here and a lot of good organizations. Sometimes the viewing audience may not know all the services that's actually being offered to you in the area. So we want to try to have these people come in and talk about it and let everybody know. So if you do need a service that they're providing, then you have the opportunity to do so. Stay with us. Be back in a moment. We'll have a young man here. He's going to talk about Harrison Parks and Rec and a program that they've got coming up next week.
Spring has already started at Sisters Flower and Gift Shop. The ladies at Sisters have created some beautiful spring floral arrangements, and new home accent items are arriving daily. You'll also find a good selection of centerpieces, wall decor, and many other great gift items. Come by and check out their new baby section with gift ideas for both mom and baby. From handcrafted dinnerware, serving pieces, tabletop items, and licensed Razorback products, Sisters has just the right gift item for any occasion. Catch the spring fever at Sisters Flower and Gift Shop. We are so much more than flowers.
Join Sammy Klein Thursdays and Fridays during the TKO8 local newscast for this week's closing livestock market report, made possible by Quality Feed Grains of Harrison and Bellefonte. Quality Feed Grains has you covered. Everything for cattle, pets, deer, equine, poultry, seed and spray, show feed, and garden. Check their website, qualityfeedgrains.com, now for this month's special. Quality Feed Grains of Harrison and Bellefonte, proud sponsors of the Livestock Report with Sammy Klein on Harrison's broadcast station, TKO Channel 8.
Back on Connection here on TKO8 Television. Our first guest in the studio today is from Harrison Parks and Rec Department and actually has an office at the Brandon Burlsworth Youth Center. Trey Berry. Trey, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So Chuck kind of threw you in the fire today, didn't he?
He did.
Chuck Eddington, of course, our director of Parks and Rec, and Trey and other individuals working down there with Chuck. And fairly new to the program. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Trey.
Okay. I went to Tech, Arkansas Tech, got a physical education and health degree. Moved here, married my wife. She teaches at Green Forest. I got a job here.
Good.
Working program coordinator down at the Harrison Parks and Rec, and that's about it.
That's about it. So your wife is teaching up at Green Forest?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Now, do you live in Harrison? Or
yes, sir. We live in Harrison.
And she drives up to
yes,
Green
sir.
Forest? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, good. So your background, as far as your college degree, is actually, this is a lead-in to what you obviously would like to do, I'm
Absolutely.
sure.
Yes, sir.
Good training program
It's
for
sure.
Well, I'm sure you'll move on to the next level and get in the school system.
I hope so. One day.
Very soon, I'm sure. Harrison Parks and Rec offers a lot of different things for the community. And of course, Harrison Parks and Rec is a independent run commission organization, but they're funded mainly by the Harrison City Council, by the Harrison programs. But they are over all the parks here, and we're talking about the parks down by the creek, out by the fairgrounds, soccer fields, baseball, softball fields. So a lot of things happen under the parks program. And Trey, you guys do a great job down there of keeping, coordinating all the things. But one program that you've got coming up next week is a program that I think is very good for families out there. Spring break coming up next week, and the Parks is offering a program. And tell us a little bit about how that's going to work and who can sign up for this.
Okay. We're open K through 6 grades where we have limited kindergarten spaces open. We're open from 7:30 to 5:30. We have activities planned throughout the day. They'll drop them off, on their way to work. They'll pick them up when they get off work. But we have a lot of fun down there. We want all the kids that are able to come. We really would love to have them.
I noticed that he gave me some information here. For the entire week, it's $80.
Exactly. Yep. $80 a week, and then if you don't want to come for the full week, you can do a daily price of $20.
Okay. So, well, see, that really makes it nice for people out there. If you're watching the show and you want to take your child, you may not need the whole 5 days, the whole Monday through Friday situation. But if you've got a day or two maybe you don't have activities planned for the family and you'd like to have a place secured with people that are trained to take care of the youth, then it's a great place to go, and they always have a lot of fun down there. You got always some fun games and activities.
Oh, yeah. We have a lot of fun. We'd love to have every kid we can get.
Now, meals will not be provided. Is that right? So what do they need to do?
You will be the parent will be in charge of bringing or packing the lunch for the child. You bring snacks if you want snacks. We will have snacks available for them to buy at the concession stand. But as far as lunch goes, lunch and breakfast, the parents will need to provide that for them.
Okay, so you'll have time for the children, obviously, to
yes, sir.
take a snack break. And since it's from 7:30 until 5:30, so that's a pretty long day. So they'll have a little breakfast snack, I'm sure, of the morning and 2 or 3 times during the day, obviously. If somebody wants to come pick up, how do you do as far as, there's always concern with parents with maybe somebody coming that's not authorized to pick. How do they pick up their children and so forth?
Okay, whenever they come sign their children up for the program, we have a list on there that says who can pick them up and who cannot pick them up. We ID every parent that comes in just in case. We don't want to send them home with somebody that's not supposed to be picking them up. So if you want to have somebody pick your child up, they need to be on that list for us to identify them.
Okay, good. As far as signing up for next week's program, as we mentioned, it starts on the 20th. When's the deadline, or what would you need everybody to sign up by?
The deadline is Friday, and will stop doing that at 5 p.m. So you can come sign up today or any day this week, and then we'll close it Friday at 5 o'clock.
Friday, that'd be March 17th, Friday at 5 p.m. So, don't procrastinate too long, and I'm sure right now you're open for the numbers that you've got signed up, but do you have a maximum you can take?
No, sir.
You've got instruct. For the viewing audience, maybe they don't understand, how do you do, or tell about the instructors and stuff that will help you there. You always have different, depending on the number of kids.
Yes,
right?
sir. Yeah, we'll have one counselor for every 10 students.
Okay.
They're college kids, high school kids, but they work with the kids, and I separate them into different groups, and they'll organize the games for them and make sure they have a lot of fun.
One thing, Trey, I want to mention too is that these counselors, may not be all of them, but a lot of these counselors are actually, as he mentions, college students that many of them are like Trey. They're going in some type of program, so this is a good training for them. But they're not just somebody off the street. They screen these applicants and to make sure that they.
Yes, sir.
And that they've got some training and know what's going on.
Yes, sir.
So you've got, and that means a lot to these parents too. Let's talk a little bit about the Parks Department and your summer rec program. This is similar to it, but not exactly the same. So when school's out, how does the summer rec program? What do you do with the kids in the summer rec program?
It's pretty much the same thing. It's same hours. It's just a little more expensive. It's $100 a week or $25 a day.
Okay.
If you want to send them all week, we have swimming, and that the $100 includes the swimming. We feed them breakfast and lunch at the cafeteria at the junior high. But yeah, like I said, it's
you do field trips also.
Oh yes, absolutely. We do. We're going to try to do field trips. We went on a little too many last year, so we're going to try to cut that down to about every other week on the field trips. But we'll take them to bouncy houses. We'll take them to the movie theaters, bowling. I mean, we have a lot of fun activities planned for them, so I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Another thing is, let's go back just a minute. He's talking about in the summer rec program. This is a big thing for you parents out there. If you want to sign up for the summer rec program through a special program that's a kind of a cooperative thing between the Parks and Rec Department and the Harrison School District, they're able to feed the children at the cafeteria, the junior high cafeteria, and you're talking about a breakfast and a lunch provided at no cost to the parents. That's a big deal.
Absolutely.
I mean, it really makes the program, for $100 a week, you can't go anywhere.
Can't beat it.
You can't go anywhere and get those kind of activities and 2 meals a day. So keep that in mind as we move on closer to the summer period when school's out. they'll have a sign-up period for the summer rec program, I'm
Yes,
sure.
sir. The sign-up date starts April 3rd. We
April.
will open at 7:30 that day to start sign-ups, and we'll be there till 6.
Okay, so April 3rd.
April 3rd.
Very good. And we'll send some, we'll have some bulletins and send out some information from here on that. After school programs, you do after school programs?
Absolutely,
too.
yes.
And now, who and what age group? Kind of tell
We
them.
do K through 4 on the after school program. Okay, like I said, we're limited on the kindergarten spots as well through that program. We get them off the bus at the junior high about 3 o'clock. We take them to the cafeteria and feed them a little snack. We bring them back to the youth center around 3:45, 3:50, and we do planned activity games, organized games with them until their parents come pick them up. They have to be picked up by 5:30.
Okay, so you're actually giving them snacks even in the after school program?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Get them off the bus and take them straight to the cafeteria.
Can't beat a deal like that.
No, sir.
Also, a reminder now that as we move on, of course, with the snow we just had, you're not thinking much about swimming, but at some point in time down the road, the summer rec program, they also, as Trey mentioned, they let the children utilize the swimming pool facilities, but we'll have the swimming pool open and so forth, and usually, does that open normally like Memorial Day?
Yes, sir. It opens Memorial Day weekend.
So they got, with the youth center and all the things that they can do down there, and if you haven't been to the youth center recently, you need to go down there. You guys have done a great job of doing some upgrading and painting and floors and just everything. It looks really nice, and added some offices for Trey and some of the staff there so they can keep up with the kids. And when you got a lot of kids coming in there, in the after school, just roughly, how many children do you have?
We have I think 53 on the roster, but we don't get 53 every day. We're roughly 30 to 40 every day.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the after-school program, Trey, can they do the same thing if they can pay by the day or by the week?
Yes, sir.
Depending on their needs, the parents' needs. I
Yes,
guess.
sir. Yeah, it's $30 a week, or it's $10 a day for the after-school program.
For the after-school program, that's another great deal.
Yep.
I mean, you think about it. They go to the junior high, they go over there and stay until 6 o'clock. So it's a good program. If you haven't been down to the youth center, go down there sometime. And if you're not sure of the programs that's offered, to talk to Trey or Chuck or Libby or any of the other staff members down there, and they'll be happy to explain what goes on there and when and the cost and so forth. We're real fortunate, Trey, and you came from a small town, and I grew up in a small town and came to Harrison. But when you live out in small towns, you don't realize a little bigger town like Harrison has a lot of things for these kids to do that perhaps the outlying areas do not have. So we cover more than just Harrison. We have kids from a lot of the area schools that
Valley, Bergman,
back in the summer rec program and stuff. So
Alpena, bring them all.
Bring them all in
We
here.
accept them.
You take them all.
That's right.
Keep up with. I don't know how you keep up with all of them, but that's in a summer rec program. But roughly, how many kids do you?
We accepted 200 last year, but like I said, we don't always get 200 kids during the day. I think we averaged about 120 last year each day. So
Okay.
got quite a bit.
That's a lot.
Quite a bit.
Trey, we've run out of time. Thank you so much for coming in and being on the show today. Trey Berry with the Harrison Parks and Rec Department. He's here to talk about something that if you want to sign up for, you need to do it this week. By this Friday, the 17th, 5 p.m., go down to the youth center if you'd like to put your child in a program for next week when the schools are out for spring break. They have a great program down there, and for $80
Yes, sir.
or $10 a day, you can put your child down there, and you know that the instructors are trained and they've been background checked and everything, so you don't have to worry about it. And you can go down there and put your child and know that the child will be there when you come back to pick them up. Thank you again, Trey.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Ryan.
it. Good luck, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. And obviously, Chuck's got a good staff member in you.
I
He
appreciate
put
it.
you out here on the front line. You did a good job.
Thank you, sir.
Stay with us. Be back in a moment. We're going to talk with two ladies about a transitional housing facility for the homeless in the area on Connection.
My name is Deborah. I work at Dental Creations on the Square in Harrison. Not only do I work at the front desk, but I'm also a dental assistant. So I'm seeing you from the beginning, throughout the whole process, and even at the end of the process. We're happy to help in any way we possibly can, and I think that sets us apart from most offices. We don't just hustle you through here just to make a dollar. We're here for you, and we want to do the best we can for you.
Dental Creations on the Square in Harrison, next to the Big Red Boot.
Even the best of us make mistakes, so when trouble finds you, trust Campbell Bonding Company to help you through what can be a confusing and sometimes frightening experience. Jim, Robert, and Cole Campbell work as a family to offer your family understanding and compassion during a very difficult time. Campbell Bonding Company can help get your family back together quickly and confidentially. And in every step of the process, they're there for you. In times of trouble, let their family help your family. Campbell Bonding Company, 870-741-1138.
Back on Connection here on TKO8 Television. Dennis King, thanks for joining us on this week's Connection Show. Our next two guests in the studio has to do with a transitional housing facility for the homeless people. It's called the Hope Cottages. And Dolly Garrison, Shirley Smothers, thanks both for coming in. Shirley, you've been on our show before. Dolly, first time to be here. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for inviting me, Dennis.
I'm going to let maybe Dolly, why don't you just start off, maybe give us a little kind of opening as to what you're doing, kind of where you're going with this thing.
Okay, well, Hope Cottages is strictly for women with children. It's a transitional housing facility located at the old St. John's Day School, which was in operation for many years here. And it was ideal for this project because of the way the buildings are situated and the enclosed courtyard area. And it already had facilities for kitchen area and the old sanctuary, which is perfect for our purposes. But we really are very excited about this because it meets the needs that we have in this community. People that don't have a place of their own, and the people will stay there for 3 months, 90 days, and during that period of time they will receive intensive training in many different areas that will help them to become self-sufficient. A lot of people don't realize that we have such a need in Harrison, but Shirley is very well aware of that.
Yeah, Shirley, you being the liaison for the Harrison School District, maybe just for the public's information, I mean, how many kids do you just in the Harrison School District?
Today I got my report and I had 153.
153 in the Harrison School District alone.
Yeah.
So you think about that. Do you have any numbers? What's the county? You have any idea for Boone County?
I don't. I talk to some of the other districts periodically. And,
well, but think about it. If it's 150 qualified, what they say, homeless children in the Harrison School District, think about all the other smaller schools within Boone County.
Right.
I mean, you're talking about several hundred more if they even had a good handle on it.
Right. And we have we have families that just move into our county, and Dolly and I both deal with this, and you know, they'll be living in hotels or, you know, somewhere here in town, and they need housing, and you know, they're homeless, and they're just kind of used to being homeless, and you know, no one's really, they've not had a chance to get back on their feet or the assistance, and so they just go from one hotel to another to another town, and the kids have to go with them, and so kind of our goal is also to help stop some of that, where when they come into town, where we can, if they're in a hotel, we can help get them maybe through this system, through our shelter, and then kind of help them get back on their feet, get a house, get a job, get their kids in school, and you know, help things, you know, be better for them, you know, and just myself. Kids do not like to have to live like this.
Oh, I'm sure
I mean, they want that help. I had a conversation with a student just last week, and he just broke down, and he was, you know, upset because he'd had to live like this, and it was just wearing on him, and I could see it, you know, and so.
Kids shouldn't have to deal with it. They got their own problems, you know.
And their families, we have seen, Dolly and I both have, because we've been working in this capacity for quite some time, that if we help them and we give them some of the tools that they need to get back on their feet and going again, they can be very successful and move on.
Well, let's talk about, we don't want to run out of time, and we want to let people know what you're doing. All right, so you're going to have the cottages. You're going to have, what, 8 cottages?
Yes,
Is that what
8.
you said?
So 8 families at a time, and over a year's period of time, we can serve 32 families or more.
With the 90-day program.
With a 90-day program. And so the exciting thing about this is that we're going to have churches involved to mentor these families and the children, to help provide emotional support, to let them know that we do care about them in Harrison.
Where are you on your fundraising at this point?
Well, let me talk briefly just about the churches that we, the people that we have supporting our cottages. I just want to brag a little bit about that.
These are committed
already.
Yes,
these are the folks that have committed, and you know, it's taken us about 3 months to get this list compiled of 8 different churches and individuals. There was a point where we reached a point where we knew we had to go ahead and start. There were some individuals that wanted to step forth and say, "Hey, we want to, take one of your cottages." But we have Northvale Baptist Church, Tommy and Vicki Hudson, the First United Methodist Church, Faith Assembly of God, Steve Turner, and I think it's Camille, Steve Lair, First Christian Church, and the First Baptist Church.
Wow, nice. So they have all signed up officially?
Yes, signed up officially.
So they have made the next step of this possible, is that right?
Yeah, they had a leap of faith. You know, they've stepped up for us, and, and we're just not only excited because that they are going to help us with this project, but their church has said they're going to help us. I mean, there's a lot to that.
Get the church behind it, the congregation.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways they can help us in the future with this, and we're really, really excited about this.
That's going to put Harrison on the map. No one else is doing anything like this. This is not using federal money. We're doing this as a community project. And it's wonderful to have these different denominations to work together for a common good. And these women can become self-sufficient members of society. And instead of relying on, tax dollars, they can become self-sufficient and give back to the community.
That's true. Where do you go from here? What's your next step now that you got the committed number? Where do you get the rest of the money? Where's the rest of the money? You need the public to give it to you, or?
Oh yes, this is our phase 3, starting our fundraising, and we are going to apply for a community block grant for $200,000 that we hope we're successful in getting through the Northwest Regional Economic Development District. And that will help us with things like windows, doors, heating and air conditioning, physical things that we need to remodel these buildings so that we can have it. But we're really depending on the community to support us, to help us raise this money so that we can complete the remodeling and have this open as soon as we can to meet the needs of the women and children.
We also have a fundraising committee that meets once a week. They normally meet at 10 o'clock on Monday morning, and I think they're meeting down at the House of Hope right now. And they have some plans, things coming up that they plan to do fundraising. But, I think this is a good time to say if anyone wants to help with fundraising and they have some things that they really want to add to this, they can call down to the House of Hope and talk to Bill Knipe, because he's kind of heading up the fundraising part of it. And
or they can mail their check directly to House of Hope. This is a project of House of Hope. We're already a 501c organization, and they just need to make their checks out to Hope Cottages and mail them to House of Hope at 600 East Stevenson here in Harrison.
I'm sure, based on the need of remodeling the church, and there's going to be quite a bit of work in that. If if somebody's watching the show, maybe they've got a business out there, maybe they sell lumber or whatever. I'm sure anyone that has something that they'd like to donate, whether it be their time or their services or products,
Right.
you'd certainly take
Yes,
that as well.
in-kind donations, of building material, anything along
Right.
that line. Yes, we would certainly welcome that.
Goes a long way.
And you know, it's kind of factored into our plans, having those type of in-kind
Right.
donations. And once again, if they want to talk to someone about that specifically, they can contact Bill Knipe down at the House of Hope, and he's got a good handle on exactly what we're needing. We've got a few individuals already stepped up and said they want to donate some things, but we've really not been able to talk about the building donating stage of this plan, but I think we're there now because we have our churches signed up. We've talked about this, previously, but we were really talking about trying to get our churches signed up and what it was about and what our goals, were at that time. But we've kind of moved on to our next step, so we're ready to move on.
Does the grant that you're going to apply for, do you have to have commitments, or is this stage that you're talking about, the commitments that you have for the colleges, does that allow you to go ahead and apply for the grant?
We think it will really help us
Yes.
because it shows that we can maintain the cottages once we have remodeled. That way we can be self-sustaining.
Okay.
And the churches and individuals that are sponsoring will sign a 1-year contract with us, as well as the clients that come in. They'll be drug tested. They'll sign a 1-year 90-day contract with us, that they will attend the training classes and they will become self-sufficient. So we're just really excited. No more sleeping on somebody's couch or, sleeping under the bridge or in a tent in the woods, whatever these families are having to do to survive. We want that to stop. We want to take care of our own right here in Boone County.
And the one good thing about this that they're doing is, again, don't forget, this has to do with mother and children type thing. We're not looking in necessarily at this particular point of putting individual males in a facility. This is to get these kids a place where they can call home, and the family person where they can utilize all the different entities around here that the House of Hope and your organization is going to be tied to, because it's like spokes of the wheel that has to come together, and they're going to use the rest of the spokes to help them get a job, to get out on their own, to feel good about themselves, and it's a great it takes it from step one all the way to the point where they're on their own, they feel good, and they've got their own place to live.
We will actually follow these families after the 90 days is up and they're into their own housing. We're not going to drop them. They will be followed, and that's been the problem in the past with some federal programs where people are put in housing, but then as soon as the money runs out, they fall back into this homeless situation. We want to end that. We want to make things better for these families and for the future of those children.
Right. You don't want them to return back. You want them to move on and another group. Well, we've actually run out of time. Did I cover everything pretty well?
Yes, you did,
and
Dennis.
I look forward to being able to come back and kind of update you along the way and let you know kind of where we're at on this. I think that the more people know about it, the more they can maybe help us, because there'll be different stages where they can step up and say, well, I can't do that. I can't do this now, but I can do that later, or something like that. And questions, if they have questions, they can call down to the House of Hope and talk to Bill Knipe. He's there Monday through Friday.
Get the answers.
Yes.
Something you might think about doing, and a lot of times they have groundbreaking ceremonies for things. Something you might want to consider now that people are kind of hearing about this. Maybe let the public know, and maybe have something there where you have your group over at the facility to get the public over there and then tell them your story. A lot of times people will come and say, hey, I'll write you a check for this. I see what you're trying to do. So hopefully it goes well with you. It looks like you're on the start to a very promising program.
We are.
And we appreciate both of you
for
coming in today. Dolly Garrison, Shirley Smothers, both coming in and talk about the transitional place for the homeless people out there. And if you can help out, go by the House of Hope. They'll answer any questions you might have. They need your help. This is phase one. They've got to go through the whole rest of it to make it a reality. They certainly want it to. Thank you both for coming in. Good luck with your program.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on Connection this week. We hope we brought some information to you perhaps you didn't know about. We'll see you again next week.